Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League Hiatus Tournament Division 1 Finals. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I'm joined with multiple hosts on the desk for today. Radarhead to my right and Sleepy on the analyst desk. Radar, how are you doing today? Excellent, glad to hear. I do think we are having some unfortunate audio issues on that end, so let me see if we can sort those out. Oh yes, we should be able to. Radar, coming in again. Let's hear your lovely bald-headed voice.
I'm great, Nightfire. I am super psyched for this. It's going to be awesome. We've got a grudge match. Aimless Gaming 1, Beginners 0, and they're in the final together. Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, it's exciting. I don't know what to expect out of this. Sleepy, this is going to be a high-tier matchup at a very, the maximum caliber. What are you looking forward to today?
Yeah, well, I'm really interested to see how Aimless Gaming is going to be playing here today. They've really kind of been a Cinderella story over this last kind of Season 10 time span. They've changed names a few times since their original inception back a few seasons ago. And of course, I think everyone who's here knows the Beginners. They are the powerhouse EU team that, typically dominates season after season here in the VRML. So I'm really interested to see how Aimless are going to fare up against the Beginners. And I should know, approximately how things are going to go a little better once we get through this first map. But for now, I'm just excited to be here. Division 1 tournament or finals here with the Hiatus tournament. Season 10's been a little bit rougher than we originally anticipated off the block, but we're getting through it, and we'll be back to things hopefully regularly soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, for those tuning in, this is on 1.8. This is the build that you can download on your Quest right now and play on. What you're going to be seeing here is readily available for you guys to all go and play on any of your VR devices, really. PC, the Quest. Waiting for that Quest 2 to come in. Looking forward to playing it on that. But there's a lot to talk about these teams, because we know how these teams play. I got to watch Beginners. They've brought in some new strategies. They're using the flashlight a lot in 1.8, because in 1.8 the flashlight has become very strong. It's a very powerful blinding tool. Flash bangs, a super effective utility that we've seen Beginners use as well. Radar, you've had obviously our EU sort of constituent, had the privilege of playing against both of these guys. What is Aimless going to bring to the table that's going to potentially shake up the Beginners platform?
Well, they just play a very different Onward to Beginners. So Beginners, slow, methodical, push up, grab the ground, push up, grab ground, wait till the last minute, and that's when Beginners hit you. Aimless Gaming just come at you. They just come at you like a tidal wave, and if you're not ready for them, they just smash through you, they flow over you, and they cap, and they destroy you. And that's the two real different approaches we're going to see. We're going to see methodical and slow versus a torrent.
Interesting, kind of finding success in the chaos. Certainly a strategy we've seen prove very successful for a lot of teams in that sort of top 10 in regular season. So curious to see. And we do have pick bans. Sleepy, what do we bring into? I know at least we have one ban on the table so far from Aimless Gaming, and it's a pretty smart one, right?
Yes, I would agree. For Aimless Gaming, they're going ahead and banning Downfall, which anyone, again, who's experienced with the VR Master League or the Onward VR Master League, to be more specific, will know that the Beginners are pretty dominant on Downfall. They have a really tight Downfall game. I haven't seen much of it recently, but even the last time I saw it, they had changed things up. They play a very strong defense there. Their offense is, again, very methodical, very planned out, and very ready to cover multiple angles when things do happen to kind of go wrong or go against plan. So Downfall is smart ban from Aimless Gaming. And Radarhead, I know you were working to get the ban from the Beginners. Were you able to get that one yet?
Yeah, they're banning Bazaar, which to me is bizarre because they're really good at Bazaar. They're a great team at it. I wouldn't say unbeatable, but it shocks me to see them ban that against Aimless Gaming. My heart, if you'd said what, I would have said 9 out of 10 chance that they're going to ban Cargo, not Bazaar. But there they go, proving me wrong. So.
Yeah, and Bazaar, one of those maps in 1.8 that hasn't had a lot changed. As has Downfall, I suppose, has had a few adjustments, but Bazaar relatively unchanged in 1.8, and so we're gonna see, the likes of Quarantine most likely. Suburbia is on the table here. Cargo, obviously, something we could go to if Aimless want to keep it close quarters. there's a lot of different interesting options in this matchup. I feel like beginners don't necessarily have the advantage here in the map pool for the style of gameplay that we're going to see out of both these teams.
Which is why it surprised me that they've chosen to ban Bazaar. I mean, again, the style of gaming that Aimless brings, in my opinion, supports smaller maps. Now, I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Sure. Well, I think we have only a few moments before we hop into our first map, which is still TBD, I believe. So we'll just be diving right into that map as soon as we come back from this brief intermission. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do not go anywhere. We're going to be right back into the action. Map 1 of the Onward Hiatus Tournament Division 1 Finals coming at you in a few moments. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for patiently waiting for the start of map number 1. It is going to be Cargo. We do have teams in lobby ready to go, and frankly, I just couldn't wait anymore to talk about this one because it is going to be a pretty quick map 1, if I was going to have to guess. You know, beginners can take Cargo slow, but Aimless Gaming, they are a fast-paced team, and this map definitely favors them, obviously, which is why it's their map pick. As the home team, they get the map choice. I mean, Radar, these guys are going to be storming the front here. I think we'd be surprised if they played slow, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I expect Aimless Gaming to be shifting in smoke, shifting in flashes, and pushing in underneath them, and really trying to dislodge beginners en masse rather than look for long-range picks. But I could be wrong. Maybe they're like trying to change up their playstyle. But so far, in my experience, that's the way they're going to push it.
I really want to see how these playstyles mesh. You know, how they collide, because beginners have a very solid, stable, strong, calculated defense on Cargo. You know, they find their position. Sometimes they play aggressive. They have variety to how they want it, how they set up on defense. And Aimless play it so aggressive that I wonder if a beginner's defense is going to work out, because I feel like it does typically work pretty well against an aggressive sort of Marsoc push in most situations. But I mean, again, Aimless they've really honed in that fast play style.
Yeah, I mean, the key thing is here is the beginners tend to hold static lines that are strong. Now, if Aimless Gaming are able to punch through a weak point, they'll flow through that weak point. It's a question of whether beginners can adapt quickly enough. I feel, anyway. And that, for an aggressive, you know, from when Aimless Gaming is on Marsoc. When Aimless Gaming is on defense, I mean, the defense is, again, quite fluid. They're quite aggressive with it, but they still hold lines themselves. So it'll be interesting to see how they clash when they're on defense as well.
And I mean, Sleepy, we've seen those heavy smoke plays be very effective, even on 1-8, and especially, I mean, honestly, those smokes, I would say, more effective on 1-8 because of they have a bit of a wider range than they have historically. And I mean, capping under smokes is obviously a challenge, though, right? With the current iteration in 1-8.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the way that the smoke behavior now currently behaves in 1.8. It's definitely been a sore point amongst the community a bit, but we know that Downpour is doing what they can to fix that in time as they work with Unit 51 and other testing groups to get that stuff done. But yeah, smokes have become, well, a lot of different pieces of equipment have become arguably more useful with, of course, some negative side effects like we see at the smoke. So capping has definitely been happening a lot more, but people are using it as an offensive procedure to kind of put it right on a defender so the defender can't see and actually cap out in the open rather than capping under the masking of smoke like we used to see when the smokes behaved more in a conical directional behavior. But you know, you already kind of hit it a little bit. I'm interested to see if beginners crank up the speed again, because Cargo was the map where we first began, I think back in Season 8, maybe even Season 7, first began to see beginners kind of starting to flip that aggressive switch, flip that speed switch. And Cargo was one of the first maps that they showed us that aggression on. Right. So sounds like the teams are getting ready to run, so I'll turn it back over to you two for the action, and I'll come back and talk to everyone between the rounds here.
Yeah, it is about to unfold. We are finally ready to get into the swing of things. Beginners versus Aimless Gaming. Beginners on defense to kick this off. We've been waiting for this one, Radar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Interestingly, Cargo, Aimless Gaming beat beginners on this 4-2 in the original matchup, the first game of this tournament. So let's see how that pans out. A lot of smoke coming out for the cross. Are they going to risk it? Icy Woods and pause. Wow, this is a crazy play.
Yeah, these are all defensive smokes, so they are getting aggressive. They're playing offense on defense. Smoyle's charging forward here, and we're getting a complete swap. ALG are playing it passive. They picked off one.
Wow, I'm kind of flabbergasted on this objective. They're playing so aggressively. It's unrequired for this. Smiles picks up ALG. Wow, it's 3 versus 3 now with the res still capable of Aimless. Now it's 2 versus 2. It's happening so quickly. It's now 1 versus 2. The Aimless Gaming, and the final person, Smiles, in the back. Right, no, Strayjack, actually, sorry.
Our predictions getting completely flipped on their head right now, Radar. ALG is playing it defensively, and beginners on defense are playing it offense. I don't know what I'm seeing right now.
Are the colors mixed up or something? Are we, a Bolt, Marsoc, and vice versa? I'm so confused.
Dude, that honestly is what it feels like. It feels like the objective is in the Cargo crate right now, and Strangex trying to cap.
I'm so confused by this. Wow, Strategic's gonna pick it up. Cartman will Nameless pick it up. It's a trade. And Beginners take it! Oh, wow. Unbelievable. That all happened way too fast, and I'm so confused. I need to sit down. I'm already sat down. I need to lie down.
Hey, Sleepy. Hey, Sleepy.
Yeah, boys. I don't know that I caught much of that either, because every time I turned around, someone else was dead. But absolutely, Aimless playing a little bit more reserved, maybe as if they knew Beginners would come out of the gate hot on defense. But Beginners, yeah, man, really showing no regard for their own safety as they charge forward. Smoils, and I forget who else that was with him on that early push. I believe it was...
Everyone. It was a four-man press. They had two on
I don't know. Yeah, it's so confusing.
Woods went down first. Smoils and Killinger were up in their faces. Like, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, there it was. Yeah, so Smoils and Killinger, Smoils goes in and does what needs to be done. He does go for the confirms to make sure that no reses come out, so that was a smart play from him, even though it does mean that he goes down, leaving it in that 1v2 situation. But also Strajack there at the end, playing it very smart to stay back, stay reserved, not go. Yeah. He had a quick look at one of the Marsoc guys there for a second, but he didn't take the shot. He held back for a moment, and it ended up working out better for him. But that round-ending trade was really clutch for him to be able to secure that first round for Beginners. But overall, an explosive first round here as we get into this Division 1 finals.
Yeah, I mean, we are off to the races.
I mean, Aimless just held all the way back as well. It's not like they met in the middle, It wasn't like Aimless charged in and met Beginners halfway. It's just Aimless were all bunched up quite close in.
Here's something that I think maybe they... I mean, hey, this would be really high level, but they saw very early smokes coming in from Beginners. You can assume some stuff off of that. You can hey, why are they smoking this lane so heavily? What's going on there? And I think they played off of that reactionally, and it worked out fantastic for them. I mean, as best as it could, right? Beginners still came out on top, but... I mean, they countered that aggression quite well.
Absolutely. I mean, I would have thought from an aggressive standpoint that we're just trying to get people across. I never would have expected that full-on push.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Aimless coming into this one a little bit more reserved. This is the finals. This is when the pressure's on the line. A ton of suppressive fire here.
Is anyone beginners not firing right now? I'm not even joking. Like, Pause has emptied a mag. I can see an empty mag next to him. The rest of them are still firing. No early pickups, though, but this is going to put a lot of pressure on Aimless Gaming in the opening seconds of this second round.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of I like the pre-fire strategy, especially on Cargo. It can do a lot for you. If you just shoot down the lane, as you move forward through it, the team can't peek you. It's impossible. It's a death sentence. And so... you're wasting ammo in a sense. You're giving away your location in a sense, but in a map like Cargo, does your location really matter that much? Are you really trying to sneak through things that often? And, sure, sometimes, but I mean, if you're looking for suppressive fire, you're trying to draw the attention.
Oh, absolutely. Now, interestingly, Aimless Gaming's defense looking quite weak on the east side. They only have Nadu occasionally peeking out, so Beginners could push up. Icy Woods pushed up into the location where he could actually make something of that, as long as he didn't get a cross pick from Nameless, who's tucked in behind a red container.
I will say, Aimless is staying very tucked in. All these pre-fire angles, all these shots coming in for Beginners, and none of them are finding much success. It seems like Aimless is really just waiting it out. They're aware of the time, and they're just patiently waiting for Beginners to start to make their move past the midfield.
Yeah, I'm very surprised not to see any Aimless Gaming players having pushed up to the middle. They're all holding, quite traditional defensive positions. Interesting what Beginners doing what Beginners do best. Looking for a pick, looking for the enemy team to make a mistake, to get impatient, to peek out when they shouldn't. But Aimless Gaming are giving them no opportunities right now.
Yeah, it really seems like Aimless has done their homework here. At least off these first two rounds, they seem to be ready for what Beginners are bringing to the table in both of these rounds. It's just a matter of if they can execute when the time comes. Oh!
Wow, single C4 picking up Smoils and Strajack. Strajack behind the box, unexpected. Strajack being the one killed. Smoils resible, unexpectedly.
Nameless swinging off of most likely hearing some grunts of death. Ends up getting a confirm there very luckily, but Smoils does get res. He's going to throw a nade. Nameless finds another one through a nice line of sight, avoids the nade, and tucks himself back into position. The communication from Aimless Gaming is very loud comms here. They are frequent and often.
Wow, that was perfect timing from Nameless as he picked up Killinger on the rotate back after getting Smoils back. That kind of stuff always happens to me, and I am never the guy doing it. I'm never that guy getting the peak kill. I'm always the guy on the receiving end.
And it's just so hard to be on that receiving end.
Wow,
Ooh,
excellent
Woods.
grenade from Woods then. Takes down Nadu. Nadu in a very resable position though, and no one's going to be able there to stop that res, but still, it's going to unhinge ALG a little bit maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Smoke starting to come in here. 1:45 on the clock. Typical beginner's timing. Start to push at around 2 minutes, and so they are going to try and get something through here. Nades coming in, Smoke's coming in. Good shots from Nameless through the smoke. Pause.
Pause now on
He's
the
slipped
objective.
through. He's here capping.
Hume comes in, choking down.
Wow.
Smiles picks up. It's a trade. ALG picking, holding tight. Holding tight was still 3 up.
A solid. I mean, that was a beginner's defense almost. You know, that's what I would expect out of beginners, to stay very tucked in, reserved. You know, make sure you're not going to lose one early and just let them come to you. They played that very calm, and I mean, had some great moves.
Great communication as well. Sleepy, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, Aimless Gaming really kind of held very reserved on that one again. As we saw, they didn't push out. I did hear some chatter as I flew my camera around, just them warning each other about the pre-firing, and that they were just looking for them to go and look for a peek and peek those angles so that they can, you know, take them out. They did a good job holding back there. The picks came in that C4 there on the eastern side. Sorry, western side of the map there, outside of the tunnel exit. Was really nice for taking down 2. The confirmation kill, I didn't quite see it up close, but it looked like he just kind of took some chance shots through those black boxes down there. But he could have also might have seen a foot or a leg or something hanging out. But yeah, I mean, but all in all, you know, beginners stayed strong throughout that whole thing. They didn't really let the downs and the kills on their own side really deter them. I mean, as you saw, Paz was going in, trying to go for that cap still, even with only 2 members left. And, you know, Aimless just played a better defensive round there. So we'll have to see. But so far, this is shaping up to be an excellent match.
I mean,
arguably,
Go ahead.
Arguably, if Fume hadn't had his 6th sense sensor on then, and maybe he heard Paz coming in, that easily could have been a cap. I mean, that was a very aggressive, very confident pushing from Paz, which could have netted them that 2 point.
Exactly what I did want to talk about is how Fume reacted there. A very savvy move. He saw the lines of sight being blocked on objective, and again, just reacting off of what they're seeing, reacting off the smokes, knowing someone's likely trying to pinch us here and get a cap, and to be able to get that pick and find that final kill. Very well.
We're seeing repeat smokes. Sorry to interrupt, but we're seeing repeat smokes. Are we going to see a similar push for beginners? Oh my god, they're doing it again. Doing it again.
It worked for him last time. The slow play didn't work on offense. Why not try and get fast? Virus gets one already, and he's here ready to challenge Smoils. Smoils, Killinger looking for the flank, and they overwhelm Virus. The push continues through the crates. Flash comes out and over, and beginners are getting way aggressive here as ALG are just hanging on for their lives on defense.
Well, I don't understand. Again, like ALG are all the way at the back of the map, or killing or picking up Fume, and they're pushing up, taking the ground from them, killing a foul in a 3 versus 3 situation.
There's chaos across the field. Woods finds Nardu. Cartman and Nameless pick up a couple on their side, and now it's all down into a 1v2 again. Exactly what we saw how this push shake out last time.
You come to think of it, the last time we scrimmed beginners on this map, they did exactly the same thing to us, and we just assumed it was because it was like, hey, it's the final map of the night, they just wanted it over. And it did work for them, but like I'm still confused. You know, this is an awesome play because it's the last thing anyone expects beginners to see. And it's the last thing we expect to see from ALG, to fall back to the back of the map, to really fall back on the absolute defense. I
mean, literally backs against the map wall. Like, they didn't have anywhere else to go. Beginners took full map control there, but got a little, you know, just a little overzealous trying to push out those crates and get them on the back wall there. And now it comes down to Woods, who's all on his lonesome. 3:30 left on the clock, so Aimless can clear all of this space and work their way up to eventually challenging Woods.
True, but what ALG have going against them is they have no idea where Woods is. They know that they lost a guy. Well, the last guy to die was on ALG, and it was in a forward position. So I don't know that they know Icy Woods is in a true defensive position now. So they have to work against that, checking all the corners as they push up. And look at them. They have no idea where he is. They're checking every corner. Strajak caught them, you know, out last time in quite a forward defensive position. So again, they're taking nothing for granted.
And they don't know. They have no information, and it's going to be ultimately something that could hurt them if Nameless comes in too loud. If they both come in too loud down the street, Woods is going to be well aware of their location. And like to your point again, I just don't think they're going to be ready for him to be tucked in here behind these barrels. Because why would you? You'd normally be over by objective, you know?
Oh yeah, with one guy left. But the other question is, do they have an accurate kill count? Because so much of that happens so quickly. I'd be confused. Well, I wouldn't have expected. A lot of them were trades. Fair enough. Actually, a lot of the Volk bodies are out in the open, so
yeah.
I would assume they have a fairly accurate kill count at the moment. But you're right. You know, if there's one defender left, you'd expect it to be tucked in on the objective, not tucked in on Wood's position.
But this, you know, if they both pushed here on this side of Icy Woods, it certainly could have gone, you know, in Icy Woods' favor. I think this is the right move, though. Nameless is going to go all the way down to tunnel. It looks like he has 2 minutes to do it. Oh, actually, I know he's scavenging his friends for some utility. He's going to go all the way to the opposite side of the map, though, and push up. And I think the split is going to be possibly where they can pick off Woods.
Yeah, I like Woods' position from an ambush point of view, but the problem is once he's spent that ambush, he's on an island, and you know that he can't rotate out of that position because he'll get cut down. And if they have any utility left that can dislodge Woods, that'll get him. So yeah, Woods will pick up one, but as long as these guys are segregated and they're covering each other, I don't know how Woods then gets the second kill unless he's very lucky.
If they stagnate themselves, if they go one at a time, you know, Woods could have the opportunity there. But Aimless has been pretty in sync so far today. You know, to be able to challenge beginners like they have is certainly commendable, and commendable. And now here we are into this 2v1, a minute 10 left. Aimless is going to have to start to make the move here soon enough.
Yeah, you can tell from the smokes they have literally no idea where Woods is. Smoke's coming out, ineffective though.
Yeah.
Icy Woods still has a clear line of sight as Nameless pushes in on that side. Icy Woods will pick him up. Oh,
did that flash get him?
Flash. I don't think so. I think maybe the pipes would have blocked it. I don't know. Icy Woods is backing himself up. No,
I think it got him, but now it's been worn off. It's about a 7-second flash time, but he's definitely seized now.
Nameless making the transition, makes it across, and now Icy Woods is in a terrible position. Wow, he picks up Evil Carbon. Nameless could have gone for a cap. Instead, he's going for trade.
Wow!
Woods' reactions. Wow, cuts down Nameless.
Woods to come in with the double to save the day there. Very impressive moves. And that could have been, man, you know, again, we got to factor in so many things here, the pressure, all of it. That could have been a cap, right, Sleepy?
Yeah, it absolutely could have, but I will say that I actually disagree with you when it came to them splitting up. I think that actually decreased their chances of being able to execute in this particular case. Woods was backed into a corner, and similar to the round before where Straightjack was caught in a 1v2 scenario and the players had stacked up, you know, there was that trade, but that trade is an RNG chance as it is, as we all know, right? Like, the chance of that happening is just completely random. So they could have pushed him and just overpowered him with the correct spacing, because that's another thing that I've been noticing with the Aimless Gaming. They are looking very solid in a lot of ways, but there are a lot of ways in which they could still use a lot of work, and that's where I still see a bit of a newer team with this particular team. And I think in all, that's exactly why Woods was able to come out on top in that particular scenario once they split up, because he missed his shots, but he heard, I believe it was Cartman coming around the corner. So he made himself ready. He prepped for that. He pre-fired the corner and got that kill. He did take a hit. Yep. But because of the pathing that the other guy had to take, and this is kind of a part of the reason why I said them splitting up wasn't necessarily the best route, it gave Woods a chance to protect himself while running back towards the objective because he knew someone was heading that way. He had the chance to heal himself and come around that corner ready to fire again, and I don't think Nameless was quite ready for that. I think Nameless was more preparing for the cap than the defensive kind of counter position.
How about this? If I was in Evil Cartman's shoes, I'd like to think that once the transition had happened by my teammate and I saw that he was still alive and I'd identified that the guy is where he is, I would have just held the line. I would have just held the line and let him come out. Like, you know, he didn't have to go in for the kill. If he had an accurate kill count, that last player has to come out to stop the cap.
Very true.
So I feel like maybe Cartman dropped the ball a little bit there, but still a great play from both teams as we go into round four. Yikes.
It's been a few quick ones and a few long ones. The last couple actually going down to the last minute of round time. And again, similar strategy, similar objective. Beginners relying on what's worked for them in the past. A suppressive fire here, downrange, looking for some early picks. But again, ALG are just not. They're not exposing themselves to any angle. The pre-fire does not. They're not threatened by it effectively. And I think this could have been how beginners adjust. I would have liked to see beginners maybe try to come in a little bit more aggressive here, because right now nobody's really holding any lines of sight. Because that pre-fire is out, ALG is actually all tucked in, and there is a lot of gaps in coverage that this beginners team could quickly push through.
Yeah, it's odd to see like such heavy suppression fire and not really see them making most of it. Not pushing up into the blind spots they're creating, not making most of the suppression, this massive suppression field they've created, and they're still hanging back.
I mean, they can literally walk up through the middle of the map and get right up here to ALG Evil Cartman's line of sight. That's the first line of sight they're going to run into. Nameless is holding a bit of an angle as well. You're going to have to scoop him up. He's tucked into that corner, but that's a pretty standard corner.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much space on the east side. Like, Nadu's the only person on the east side popping out every so often. It's just the same as last time. But beginners hanging back, looking for the peaks that just aren't going to happen. And you look at beginners lineup here; they're in a very defensive, lineup. They're not pushing forward. They're not. Then you got two people in the mid area of the map. The other three are hanging back in the south quarter.
I think maybe they're sort of defending against themselves in this situation, right? Because they have put out a very aggressive defense themselves. Maybe they're sort of anticipating a bit of counter aggression, but Aimless just not exhibiting that, and it's what we expected too, right? At the deaths before this match, we would have said, oh yeah, Aimless is definitely going to be the one that's going to push you on defense. I would not have anticipated it being the other way around, and so I think beginners just working with what they have known historically, and ALG throwing them a curveball.
I love it. I love that ALG have changed it up for this. The ALG I expected to see is not the ALG I'm seeing, and it's still working for them. And both times, let's not forget that even though they've lost both of their attacks, it's been on a one-on-one situation, or 2-on-1 in their favor situation. They've lost both times on Marsok. So, I mean, what ALG is doing is working for them, and what beginners are doing is working. I mean, beginners have got 2 points on the board compared to ALG's 1, but it's just working. It's working by fluke. Well, not by fluke, but
yeah, it's
but
coming down to the skin of their teeth.
Position. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're coming from behind. So.
Yep. Yeah, no, they have. Their 2 wins have been from behind, the 1v2s that they've ended up winning. So Aimless are just on the cusp of keeping this one even, and if they can win this one, we're right back into a 2-2, and I don't know how the series shakes out.
Is it wrong that I want ALG to take this round? I really want every map to go 4-3, and it go to the third map. So, come on, ALG, I'm rooting for you right now. Let's keep it 2-2.
Yeah, hey, if we keep getting good rounds like we've seen so far, with some wild plays, I will be a happy camper. That's a good nade toss right over to Nardu. He tries to avoid, and they got him once, they got him again.
Yeah, exactly a repeat of last time. Just a grenade coming out, catching Nardu getting res with no real follow-up. Now comes the push, minute 20. Here comes beginners on every angle.
Ooh, Killinger pause actually picking up Nameless. Fume goes down, so he can't protect the front of objective. Cartman in a trade. Virus, Nardu on the backside. Nardu scoops up one, and we're into a 2v2 in a flash. Smoils Streza crashing in through the smokes. Virus trying to res Cartman. Smoils finds an opportunity there. Nardu goes down on the backside from Strazak, and just like that, beginners put up a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, that was a bad call under pressure to try and go for a res in that situation, in my opinion. But beginners played it just right. They had shock and awe on their side. They didn't slow down. Sorry, and Sleepy. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that Aimless fell apart there, or do you think beginners rolled over them?
Well, it's a combination of both. I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's easy to make these calls and this analysis from sitting here in the bird's eye cam, right?
Yeah.
And when things are going down on the field and you have rounds coming in and you have smokes around you and you can't see and you've got grenades and your teammates are dying all the time and you have no idea what's going on, you have to make decisions in that moment, and you really can't. You absolutely cannot sit there and ponder over, is this the right decision to make? You just have to make it and hope that it does work out the way you want it, because not everything can be a calculated decision. But I do think that in this round versus the previous round, where Aimless Gaming was able to win pretty decisively on their defensive round, granted a few trades in the overall battle, but beginners definitely were able to handle themselves much better. I think they were more prepared for what Aimless Gaming had to offer on defense there. So they came in very strong in a very beginner's way at a minute 20, minute 30 seconds, as Radar said, from all the angles. A few trades. Looked like Killinger had a problem getting his shots on target there with Evil Cartman underneath the building 2. But overall, a great execution from beginners, so I think they definitely deserve that round. They are getting wise to Aimless Gaming, though, it seems. So I feel like the longer this match goes on, the more time beginners are having to adapt. So Aimless needs to kind of keep things on a varying platform, so beginners are constantly guessing.
So just a quick note
there. Their advantage is coming.
The main difference for me for beginners in that round is they didn't lose two guys early on.
Yeah,
so
that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So the main difference at minute 20, they had 5 guys pushing in rather than 3, which really, changed things. Pause getting those 2 picks in the middle, just cracked open forced ALG to have to rotate, forced ALG to have to panic-strickenly defend the west side.
Yeah.
Does look like we had a disconnect on the beginner's side of things, so we might be into a brief, momentary pause here as we wait for that individual to reconnect and we can get back into the action. But yeah, it's again, this whole series has been like a weird flip on the head. I guess beginners have been playing the standard beginners offense, I would say. That the minute 20 push, all of that. But man, this defense that they've been throwing out, if you're Aimless Gaming, what more could you do? They literally have been sitting at their spawn, defending from the aggression of the defense. I guess it's harder to push this side, I would argue. Would you guys say? I think it's harder for beginners now on this objective to push the offensive side of the map.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think beginners can listen. There's so much ground you can take in the center of this map if you don't even try and cross to go to the objective. You can charge down the tunnel and you can meet them again halfway. I mean, I don't expect beginners, I never do expect beginners to go fully aggressive on defense, but they could definitely have a repeat here where they take the middle ground. I would be surprised if Aimless Gaming give up the middle ground. I mean, they've given up all the ground in the last 2 times they've been Marsoc. However, I would be surprised if they gave up the middle ground on this, because it's imperative you take the middle ground for this objective, in my opinion.
Not a long wait, thankfully. We have everyone reconnected. Smoil's back in the action, and we are underway for round number 5 of map 1. If you are just tuning in, this is the first map of a best-of-3 series. Beginners with a nice 3-1 lead going into the defense. And again, what to expect here, I don't know. We're not seeing any early smokes here, that's for sure. So maybe beginners not going to get out here too aggressive.
I really want them to, though. I just want to see them charging down the line again. But no, ALG now pushing up, taking that middle ground. Pause goes down as the first death in this round. Fume now about to pick up Killinger.
And I mean, Fume wreaking havoc here in the middle. 2 go down to beginners. The 5v3 advantage as they collapse, make that a 5v2. Woods goes down, and Nade's right there, though. Nardu just barely avoids it. Fume almost goes down. Strategic trying to hold off the entirety of Aimless Gaming. They overwhelm Icy Woods, and Strategic's now into a 1v5.
No. Smile still functions on the
right.
east side. 1 versus 5, though. He has to change up his angle. Can he hold? No, he cannot. 5. Wow. Aimless Gaming destroying beginners' defense there.
And there it is. That's exactly what they needed to do. They changed up the game here in this round. Both sides actually deciding to change things up. And, for beginners, it made sense, right? They were on defense for the map point. All they needed to do was play it pretty safe, pretty securely, and be ready for just about anything, and they could have, locked down map 1 and moved on to something a little bit bigger to leave them some sight lines to utilize. But that is not what Aimless Gaming had in mind. As Radar had cited earlier in the pre-show, they came in all 5 guns ready Fume definitely getting those first early picks to help the team push through the center, and then once they did, they were just ready to cover each other. I still am concerned about their spacing. They love clumping up when they're all 5 together, and one really well-tossed grenade, which Icy Woods almost got out there with just the grenade he was trying to toss that just kind of flopped out into the open. He almost picked up 3 because they were just charging in so hard, but luckily they did spot it and were able to avoid it. So, I mean, a great play there from Aimless. You really can't fault it. They were covering themselves very well. They were moving as a unit, as Radar had said, and they had pushed through hard, and they changed the pacing. So beginners weren't really sure what to do with it, and I think, they came out a little heavy just to push out to the midfield to get a good forward defensive position, but by that time, Fume and his boys were already there and ready to shoot.
I mean, this is... Sorry, go ahead, Knight. We're far too polite for each other's goods.
That's exactly what I was expecting in our early predictions. This sort of play, the fast play from Aimless, beginners playing it reserved on the defense, and ultimately Aimless coming out on top in some of those, aggressive exchanges. But beginners threw it on the head. Then they go back to what they haven't been doing all around, and I don't know. Aimless may have an in here if they can just sort of hold on to this defensive round, bring it to that final round of the map, and give it their all. We'll see. Beginners on offense, plenty of smokes out.
It's going in super aggressive by the looks of it. They are not holding back. They are not holding the defensive line. They are pushing hard on the east side as 3 of them transition.
Virus gets picked up. Nameless under heavy suppressive fire. A quick reload from Killinger keeps the fire downrange. He's able to sneak in. He's in a dangerous position to push up and cap on objective. Beginners are overwhelming this Aimless Gaming defense. Now it's a 1v3. Objective is completely open. Beginners have a variety of ways they can secure this one, but Paz is going to pull that pad out.
Nardu's coming back in. He sees Paz, but doesn't get him. He gets him before the cap goes in. Killinger sees Nardu, returns fire, but Nardu manages to escape it. It's 1 versus 2 situation with Paz reservoir.
There it is. Killinger does finally find the long-range shot. The nade almost getting Killinger there, but ultimately not long-range enough. Beginners snagging map 1, and hey, they continue to prove that they are a dominant team here in the VRML.
Wow,
yeah, absolutely. Cargo. Yeah, what I really love what the beginners were able to do there, and I don't know if it was all the beginner side or if Aimless Gaming chose to not do this, but they cut them off from the objective from their spawn. Basically, the beginners pushed the objective side very heavily with 3, left 2 kind of outliers in the mid to watch for, any aggressive front pushers from Aimless, and nothing came. Aimless did push a little bit forward on that side, on the tunnel side, but ultimately nothing in comparison to the objective side of the map, where beginners just kind of pushed right up, cleared their way in, and nobody was really able to get up over there. I think the only person who was Aimless, or not Aimless, but Nameless.
Yeah.
As he tried to defend the objective, but Killinger was able to clean him up, and honestly, after that, Killinger should have went for the cap, but luckily he didn't, because Paz got taken down on the cap, and he was able to secure the kill to finalize the map. But ultimately, I think that is what really led to the success on that play. I mean, they completely did not allow Aimless to get over to the objective side of the map from the spawn.
Now, map 2 has been decided, and Radar, what are we thinking here? Suburbia picked by beginners?
Suburbia is always a weird one for beginners. I've seen them destroy this map time and time again. Again, the top teams in the world, they're unarguably strong on every map, but they are especially strong on Suburbia, which is strange because a lot of people kind of equate beginners with long-range maps, and incorrectly, because they are demons on things like Subway and Suburbia. So don't count them out.
And I think Aimless obviously have that same sort of impression, because they picked Cargo, obviously not anticipating beginners going to be bringing new strats and innovating here for this for the Division 1 finals. And now they've gone into Suburbia, where again, is Aimless going to be ready for it? Because I think they have that same perception that beginners excel at long range, because they did ban Downfall. They got that off of the plate because they didn't want to have to face that against beginners, and rightfully so. Beginners are also good at range. They're an all-around threat, right? They are just good at everything. They're tough to deal with no matter where you go.
The key thing with beginners here is that they take multiple angles, and they always the synchronization really pays off. And what they tend to do is punish hyper-aggressive teams who push into that center area while the Marsok or while the Vault. And beginners tend to set up like a trap almost for over-aggressive team in that central area.
I mean, Sleepy, do you think the aimless gaming aggression is going to be something that's going to work out here, or is it going to be them on their heels again as beginners, plow through on an aggressive defensive push?
It's really hard to say because, I mean, it's worked for them to get them here, right? So, I mean, it does have a successful, success rating. However, just seeing kind of what happened there in Cargo once beginners had a few rounds to kind of get a gauge on Aimless and what they were trying to do, I'm not so sure that's going to be the case here on Suburbia. And Radar's right. We do talk about beginners as being these long-range map champions and things like that. But it's mostly just because that's where we see them make a lot of their big plays and a lot of the real long shots and things, and it's because it's one of the more difficult maps as far as like being an attacking team. But he's right. They are a very good all-around team, but that's what you should expect from beginners. They're #1 in the EU. They've been season champions a number of times in the VRML. They've put in the time. This team has been together for many years in the same format, with the exception of a couple of members who have changed in the more recent seasons. So, I mean, Aimless Gaming definitely has their work cut out for them regardless of their playstyle. And oh no, Smoils right out of the gate going to TK Dr. Killinger, and that'll be my last play call for this round.
Executes Killinger. Wow. Just...
What the? What is happening at the start of this round? Fume's blown himself up. Smoils murdered his own teammate by shooting him in the back of the head as he crossed in front of his line of sight. Fume, thankfully, is resable, but Smoils has fully killed one of his own teammates, so we're into a potential 5v4.
Wow, check out Nardu's position here.
Yeah.
Super aggressive. Nice, cheeky little spot as well. Like, really tight angle, and he's going to be hard to dislodge. Interesting, I don't think anyone's going to be coming to get Fume. It's too risky, in my opinion, to try and make that cross.
We do see nades sometimes get tossed over in that area. Not necessarily where Nardu is, but yeah, that's certainly a powerful position. Here comes the res from Nameless onto Fume. Thankfully, he gets picked up. They're going to need him to be able to cover this lane, because it does seem like it is a bit of a beginner's favoring east here. Maybe they're going to swing out here on that east street.
I'm liking Woods' position. He was on top of the slide and had full coverage in the middle of the map. Unfortunately for him, nobody stepped out and got caught in his trap. And we're seeing ALG now holding those static lines, playing, really not the game I expected them to play. They're holding back, they're holding all of the defensive positions and really not going for an aggressive flank, trying to dislodge Marsok before they even get a step in. And looking at beginners, they're doing the opposite. They're holding back, they're looking for any peaks, they're looking for those flanks, which just aren't coming.
Pause and Nameless may end up engaging soon enough here. Pause definitely didn't see Nameless tucked in there, and he's managed to get himself over onto that far east side, ducking in behind a new addition in 1.8. One of those new Hesco boxes over there.
Wow.
Woods! With a nade up over the top, a long-range one at that. Catches out Nameless. That is a huge pick, because it opens up the opportunity for Pause to push down this street uncontested.
It does, but there's no way in heck that Icy Woods could know that caught someone. I mean, it's such a long-range grenade. Nameless in a very resable position, arguably, if someone just rotates down the back paths, but I guess they're feeling like the aggression's going to be coming out, especially with Smokes now putting down the pressure. It's going to be forcing the rest of Aimless Gaming to reconsider whether Nameless is worthwhile pressing, especially as all the smokes are landing on him.
Virus is on the rotation here. He's on the back end. He's going to be here to potentially pick off a couple, too, if he catches him out on the east side. Icy Woods, almost goes down. Pause gets picked up over his shoulder, and Virus has callouts that there's one there. Nameless, too, also giving callouts. Fume, in addition, waiting for them to cross out in the street.
Woods punishing Virus as he goes for the double peak.
Think I got the fence?
3 versus 3 now.
What?
Fume, wow. Woods on fire right now.
I don't know how Woods knew he was there. Maybe Strazak identified him, but now Strazak finds the confirm. Smoils picking up Nardu, and Aimless are down to 1 in a 1v3.
It's all down to Evil Cartman right now. He's holding exactly the right angle. They get picked up by Woods, who literally turned that all around for beginners, picking up 3 kills.
Wow.
Wow is right. I see Woods just on fire there. An unfortunate start for both teams with a Smoils team killing of his captain Killinger. I'm sure Smoils is getting an earful right now as they head back into the tent. Yeah, and then of course Fume blowing himself up there with the C4. For a while, without the action onto the rotation to get him up, I thought maybe he actually did it on purpose to just be kind of like a downed radio beacon, but I was like, well, that would just be foolish against beginners. So I think it was, in fact, accidental. They did get him up, but unfortunately for him, Icy Woods was not having anything from anybody on this eastern side of the map. He shut down 3 over here with the confirm from Stray Jack and some of his other teammates. But yeah, beginners just kind of picking apart that offense, and even though they did hold back quite a bit themselves out of the gate, they managed to come out strong there in the last few minutes, and a few nice cross-map engagement picks get them the win in this first round. And I think there's really not much more to say. I mean, Aimless played a good defense, but ultimately just sing one by one, Icy Woods and team picking them apart.
What's pivotal here is that Aimless Gaming have just lost the defense advantage on Suburbia, so it was beginner's pick, and they've taken the first round now, and they've taken the defensive advantage. Now, what's interesting to know is that this is Aimless Gaming's first kind of time on the on the center stage, the Division 1 Hiatus tournament finalists.
Yeah,
exactly. Whereas beginners have been here time and time and time again, so they're going to be as cool as apart from Strajak, who's a new pickup to the team. Whereas Aimless Gaming are going to be on a different level of pressure than they've ever felt before, in my opinion.
Right, and that I think is where the experience will lend to beginners here today.
Absolutely.
See what beginners can do on defense, as we hop into round number 2 of map 2. If you're just tuning in, the first map has already been completed. Beginners taking it 4-2 on, gosh, I already forgot the map. Cargo. Was an interesting one, and now here we are, beginners up 1-0 out the gate on map 2. If they win this, we do not go to the map 3. This is it. They have secured the series, so it is Aimless Gaming back against the wall right now.
Come on, Aimless Gaming. I want to see this go to map 3. I want you to show us what you're capable of, ALG. Heavy smokes coming down all around the east area. Maybe just trying to pull out C4s. Maybe they're just trying to kind of unhinge beginners a little bit, make them feel like an early aggression is going to be coming. Maybe trying to force C4s to be popped, but beginners are having none of it. Although Killinger is kind of looking for a rotate round, and C4 and a flash has just gone in from Smoils.
It's definitely doing what they want. It's making them anticipate. Smoils, at the very least, thought something was coming in. Paz able to see Virus around that one side. He's going to actually toss a nade up and over as well, over towards Nardu's direction. It goes a bit far. The flashbang may have caught them out. Paz is going to swing heavy here. Fume goes down. Nardu's still blind. Oh, Cartman saving the day with shots over the shoulder.
Wow. Fume was really tucked in there.
Yeah, he was one with the bush.
Yeah, but still, Paz finds him. 3 versus 4 situation now with Aimless Gaming down a man compared to beginners, but a great aggressive push from Paz there.
Yeah, that was the flash, so huge there, and I love the way the flashes work right now in 1.8, honestly, because it just gives you a huge bit of confidence to make big moves like that, to just swing corners that you might not normally swing, and yeah, and again, Pause to just have that awareness to find the pick in the bush.
Oh, what's going to find Nardu? They find each other, both down and both resable.
Oh, that's a good flash. I like that flash to potentially deter any res or any push that would have come in to get that confirm. Gets the res, and we're into a 3v3. Nardu gets the confirm down on that kill, so Strajak can't swing around and get the res.
So close. Strajak almost in position to pick it up. And honestly, I didn't think that that confirm was going to come out now as ALG find aggression on the east side of the map, killing a pint down Aimless.
So risky to just try and cross the street with no utility, no smokes coming down here. Clear lines of sight from a lot of different firing angles, and Killinger is going to scoop up Nardu. Cartman now the lone survivor for ALG.
Yeah, Killinger in a really unusual position here that's really worked out for him. They just weren't expecting it, and he's turned that advantage so heavily.
Tell you what, Cartman's not going to be ready for us if Strajak continues to swing around the building here and find an angle from the east street.
Beginners are unfazed. I mean, the west side of the map is completely open for for a push. No one's even remotely looking that way. They're all dialed in just what happens to be Carmen's position. While we can see Carmen rotating around as Killinger is checking now on the west a little bit more. So that dial in might work against beginners if they aren't a bit more savvy of the fact that a rotation could be coming out. Nope, and we're seeing Smoils now changing his angle, as is Killinger.
Yeah, I like the rotation coming in from Cartman. He's managed to sort of throw a little bit of confusion, if you will, amongst the beginners. They're not 100% certain where his presence is going to be coming in from, but it is still that 3v1 situation. I believe my kill feed says 4v1, but there's only 3 up. I'm not seeing a phantom fourth anywhere.
No, absolutely only 3 up. I like Killinger and Smoils overlapping defensive positions here. Strajack also now in an overlapping field of fire. So Carmen's gonna. I don't know how Carmen dislodges all of this. He gets a lucky grenade, maybe. He can take out one with that, take out the second, but the third one's always going to pick you up. Carmen's really, really in an unenvious position here. I don't know a single person who could take this confidently. No, or even I don't know anyone who could take this right now. There is no one in the league who I think would be capable of taking this. I have no idea how Carmen does this.
38 seconds left. No utility on his belt, so we're not going to see any flashes come up and over. That would have been, I think, maybe one way. A good, well-placed flash. Then you have an opportunity, potentially. C4 detonated just because, hey, it's only 30 seconds left. He's got to be coming sooner or later. Killinger spots him out as he tries the cross weapon. Bullet shots come through the wood, and down he goes. Beginners pile onto their lead 2-0.
Yeah, Carmen had his work cut out for him there.
Yeah, he sure did. And that whole round, it seemed beginners are ready to answer just about every question Aimless Gaming asked. Early in the round, they threw smokes to try and blot out the sun for beginners, knowing with the new smoke mechanics, you just get them pretty close, and those guys are going to have a hard time seeing. But the difference we see in a beginners and the difference you'll see in a lot of teams that are more prepared for things like that is you saw Killinger go in, and the one in particular that was really being a detriment to his vision, he just went ahead and tossed that out. And that's something that I don't know if folks forget or they just don't feel is worth the risk of going out for, but I do it all the time when I play, which granted, a lot of people will call flack on me for how little I'm able to play anymore, but you got to relocate those smokes, especially if it's not your team that threw them. Like, if somebody hits your spot with smoke, throw that stuff back at them. Throw it off to the side. Throw it away. Make it useless to them. Just try and make it absolute, make it where they just wasted that utility, because that's the beauty of smokes in comparison to some of the other equipment items like frags or flashes. You can't repick those and throw them. Well, the frags, I believe you can, but that most teams at this level are cooking their nades anyway, so you're not going to have that time. So the only thing you have the ability to relocate and kind of negate its effectiveness is the smokes, and I don't see enough of that in our league play, and I think it's something that should be done more, and especially now with the behavior of the smokes in 1.8. It's something that we should be seeing a lot more of, and we just haven't been. But overall, I mean, the beginners did well there. They had the right play, paused with a nice push there. Did see some bush clipping there from the guy who was hiding, but to his defense, he was completely blind, so there is no way he would have been able to tell, how much he was clipping there. And plus, pause popped around and was able to get the kill, no problem. So there's really no harm, no foul. And then, everything else, it just seemed like Aimless Gaming kind of just started to get a little stressed out, and the seams started to loosen up a little bit, and all the stuffing just started kind of coming
at the
out,
start,
the trades.
When you saw that smoke hail, we saw that massive smoke push on the west side. Then they had nothing left to push on the east. And like Nightfire rightly pushed out, trying to cross without any smoke coverage is very brave.
I did find it odd to dedicate that much equipment and smoke to the one side and then get zero push off that side at all. And then, leaving themselves open to zero equipment usage later for the cross that they needed to make, where they were basically just left themselves out in the open like a turkey shoot.
It was an effective smoke too, because it drew the attention. They were dialed in over there on that side. Flashes were coming in through the corners. They were definitely looking for the move. And if they had used that sort of distraction to then push on the east, they have a 5v3 sort of advantage for a brief moment in time there, where they can sort of overwhelm that east side and then have that sort of cross that they were looking for. But not an easy task against the likes of beginners. We saw C4s coming out, nades, flashes, great aggressive defensive plays from the likes of beginners, and They are not making it easy right now for ALG. And for wondering why we're in a bit of a longer pause, I believe we are in a ALG timeout. Hopefully we're going to be right back into the action. I do see that both teams have gotten their players back in roster, but it could be a bit longer before we see ourselves getting back into the start of round 3. In that time, I mean, we can kind of talk about what Aimless Gaming needs to do here to sort of bounce back, because beginners, I think, are on 6 unanswered points, if I'm not mistaken. No. 5 unanswered points.
Yes.
I believe. And with beginners with momentum, you need to shut that down. If you're ALG right now, what do you do when you go on defense, Radar?
You just need to not get faced. You need to hold your lines, and then you need to be able to do what beginners are doing. And that's why beginners, it occurs to me, this is why beginners are so good at this map, is that they react. They react immediately. If they see that someone's gone down and they see that there's a hole in their defense or a hole in their offense, they react. They make sure they pivot to deal with that hole. And that's exactly what Aimless Gaming need to do. They need to have tight lines, or maybe get one guy out there to be over aggressive and kind of try and catch beginners underhandedly. But the key for them is that they make sure that they do not get unhinged. They don't let the pressure get to them. Play their game. Play the game they know that works. Don't try and change it up too much. Don't get fake. Play what you know.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that maybe even in their head, they're thinking, let's try and do what beginners have been doing. We're going on defense here. Maybe let's get aggressive on defense. And to your point, I just don't. Right now, you got to play your game, and if aggressive defense is what they've been practicing here, then play your game. Don't do something that's not characteristic for what you've been putting the practice into. Now is the time to really lean into that muscle memory, lean into the strategies that you have honed in, and not necessarily try anything new. Or, hey, maybe I'm wrong, because I say that in beginners, we're trying stuff new on cargo and finding success.
Barely. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Again, they kept coming back from a disadvantage point, but Aimless Gaming, I'm just worried they're climbing up now. Like the pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be completely off the mark, but it's very hard to dial it in without being able to see the physical expressions of the guys. But again, mentioning that amount of pressure they're on being in this final, for the prizes that are up at stake, etc. Maybe it is that pressure is crushing them rather than turning into diamonds right now. Maybe they're just climbing up a little bit too much. The communication that I saw on cargo, which was fluid and coming from them constantly, doesn't seem to be as present so far in Suburbia. I don't know. Beginners have hit the stride, undoubtedly. But Aimless Gaming are not out. They're still a new team. We don't know what to expect, and they are far from out. They won the tournament brackets 4 victories, 0 losses. So, let's do volumes.
Yeah, it really does. Aimless Gaming, I mean, they've obviously been putting in a lot of work over the course of this season and, of course, the seasons leading up to this where they've been under different team titles. But, yeah, I mean, overall, this game has still been good. Aimless Gaming has still been putting up good round after round. We've not seen a single round, really, where beginners have just walked all over them. A few rounds, maybe, where beginners had more than 3 people left at the end of it, but overall, I mean, these rounds have been tight, and so that's something you have to give it to Aimless Gaming. No matter if you want to be salty about the fact that they're a relatively unknown team that's here in these Division 1 finals against the beginners or not, that's beside the point. I mean, you're watching the game just like the 3 of us here in the booth are, and you're seeing the same things that we are. And what I'm seeing is an excellent game coming out from a relatively younger team against a very veteran team. And, you say what you will about it, but I think it's good Onward.
It's awesome to see, too, just to have a good example of, a good encouragement for newer players to come in, make a team, just get the hang of things. You can build up that skill level if you want to put the practice in. You can get good at this game. It is not impossible. It just takes a little bit of practice, takes the right guys that sort of mesh well together. Aimless Gaming has clearly found that, and I think at the risk of burning out our voices, because we do have more coming at you later, we are going to cut to a brief intermission. I do want to, before we do that, again, shout out that at 3 p.m. PST, we have the Division 2 finals. That is going to be Water versus Rome. So you're going to want to tune in about 2 hours time from now. Also, you're not going to want to go anywhere because we're going to be right back into Map 2 in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hiatus Tournament, Division 1 Finals. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. We didn't even need the full 2-minute intermission because these teams are ready to duke it out for round number 3 in map 2 of the Onward Hiatus Tournament Division 1. We're, you know, ALG, they just got to hold on here. They really need this round here. This is honestly a must-win for ALG because right now, beginners are in full stride. They are looking good. They are riding that momentum train.
Absolutely, and this is a very capable objective, so they need to be, I mean, this could be all over in this round if they don't hold it. Nadu in a great defensive position here as beginners are pushing up and holding all those lines. Nadu needs to not make too much noise, though.
He got ID'd in that early corner, and it's really good that he dropped back when he did. Nades coming in from Killinger. He's been calling out his location there. I don't think he's aware Nardu's dropped back, and so essentially, in beginner's mind, Nardu's holding 2 angles right now.
Absolutely, and that's fantastic for them. As long as Nadu doesn't waste it, he gets picked up as he goes to the APC, so they know somebody's over there.
That APC cross is risky. There's a slight angle there underneath that you can get picked from. Woods has his eyes lasered in on it. You have to take the long way. And I mean, geez, Nardu is doing so good to react off of where they are calling him out and then shifting away from that position. He's dodged 2 nades already.
Interestingly, Cartman and Virus both in top floors. Every so often peeking windows. Now, beginners are not dialed in on those windows at the moment. I mean, they're pushing up. Straightjack is dialed in at the back windows in the south a little bit, but they've taken the high ground, so to speak.
Definitely a passive beginner's offense here. Everyone's hanging back in midfield trying to find that pick. Again, just how beginners do, looking for that early pick before they make their move. Smoils, the most advanced, and Pause also here on that slide, getting a full vision down into the middle of the map.
Yeah, Aimless Gaming's defensive lineup here is very reliant on that south area being held, which kind of opens up the objective massively to the to the south side of the tank. Sorry, to the north side of the tank. So if Evil Cartman goes down, I mean, that's it. Like, the objective is wide open. Like, I don't know if they're aware of the deficiencies and the potential deficiencies in the defense, but if Evil Cartman goes down, that's it. There is no one who can stop that cap apart from maybe Nadu.
Yeah, they don't have that front of vision on tank, and so you can easily get behind tank punch-in code. It is definitely a weak point in their coverage. If Killinger and Pause decide to sort of infiltrate center house, that's going to be the key pickup. But that's not, I don't know. I don't know if beginners are going to do it.
I see Woods transitioning now unchallenged on the east side of the map, southeast of the map, as he's now got full line of sight all the way down through to the objective.
Yikes, and Nardu's got his back turned to this line of sight. Ooh, no, he hears those comms from Woods. Woods just gave away his position there with those comms. And he knows it.
Repositioning, though, that's a clever little plays from Woods. You know, a less experienced player may have still attempted to push up, having spoken. Here comes the smokes on the OBJ.
Oh, and here comes the push up the middle house. Killinger and Pause are looking to clear it out. Evil Cartman's going to have his work cut out for him. Nardu picks up Wood on the east side. That's a huge pickup. C4 detonated. No one goes down here. Cartman still has to hold Killinger and Pause take control. And now, like you said, objective is captable, although Nardu has swung into a position that he might be able to deny entry.
Nardu's repositioning is pivotal at the moment. Time and time again, he's all across the map. He's still alive. He's got a kill, and he is the person who can stop a cap from happening from his position as Virus and Fume hold the south area, and Nadu holding the center against 4 beginners.
Wow. Down goes another Virus, the lone survivor up in the 2-story. Nardu's not perfectly safe here either, as Strajak's going to swing around from the right side. Strajak goes down, a huge pickup. Nardu continues to keep his team in this one.
Yeah, 2 versus 3, though. Beginners still have the advantage. Nadu needs to not get too antsy. He needs to hold the line because they are aware he's there. If he rotates too much, Pause will pick him up.
Wow.
Nadu picks up Pause instead, though, bringing it to a 2 versus 2 situation. Nadu, the MVP right now on this map, keeping Aimless Gaming's dreams alive. Killing a rotating back, though, could pick him up.
Nope.
Nadu's repositions all across the map, as he does. Again, I love it.
Playground.
So mobile here, so not afraid to make crosses, and that is going to be his downfall. Killinger picks him up. Virus able to find the refrag. Smoils looking for a piece of the action himself as they're into the 1v1.
Well, Smoils hasn't. I'm not sure Smoils knows Virus' position, but Virus is going to get caught out. If he runs it any further, Smoils finds him. Virus afraid that the cap was happening.
Wow.
Virus didn't. I mean, Virus didn't make the wrong move there, but still, it's painful to see.
Yeah, it really is. But a good round there again from Aimless Gaming. Nardu really ruining the plans of beginners there in the mid to late round. And honestly, I thought, Icy Woods was going to push Nardu. And realistically, when you were talking tonight about the fact that nobody was really able to watch that push to objective, I was sitting over here hovering over Nardu, and I'm thinking, I don't know if that's true. I'm thinking Nardu is actually the linchpin, and sure enough, Icy Woods gives his position away, and then on the backwards rotation, he walks kind of right through one of Nardu's line of sights, and Nardu gets that pick, and then pushes aggressively back into the playground, up onto the slide, where we think that Paz would be able to get that visual on him and ID and take him out, but no, it's the other way around. Nardu finds another, and then even another.
Yeah.
As he grabs Stray Jack previous to that. Just an amazing play there. Again, I agree with Radar Head there with the Virus push there at the end. I think Virus knew he did have the information because I did overhear Nardu call out Smoils' suppressive fire a few times over the radio as I was hovering above him. But, again, things happen. You forget stuff. Things change. People change position. You can't always rely on that information, but I did see him kind of fail to check over towards that lane 1 area, and I do feel like that is part of the reason why he wasn't as ready for Smoils' position, but at the same time, he's relatively blind going into that with all the kills that Nardu was able to secure and the like. So
from Smoils' body language, I feel like he didn't have a clue the Virus was in there. Like he was focused on where Nardu was. So I mean,
yeah, it wasn't until Virus ran, towards the lane 4 side of that front yard that Smoils was able to pick up a visual on him.
And here we go now. Aimless Gaming backs against the wall. Truly 3-0 beginner's advantage on defense. Aimless Gaming. How do you bring this back?
It's not easy, especially going into a Marsoc round here for round 4. They have, everything stacked against them here. The objective, I guess, the only saving grace, right? Because we do talk about how that one is cappable if you can find the right, if you can pick up the right lanes of coverage.
Wow, look at beginner's push here, leaving no one in the south. Icy was picking up Nameless straight away as Fume pushes into the middle. He's going to run to Foz. Stray Jack picking up Fume.
A quick down, but one equally quick answer back. Cartman finds Killinger. Flash is coming out and over. I think that got all 3 of them here. Virus has ducked down. The nade's going to be here. It gets 2. He gets the confirm. Woods is going to continue to swing. Beginners are applying the pressure. Cartman's the last survivor in a 1v4.
Turns around exactly the wrong moment. Gives himself away. He turned around exactly the wrong moment. Nardu picking up Icy Woods, though. Oh my gosh.
Hot out of the res, Nardu finds a kill, wastes no time getting his hands on his rifle and picking up 1. He's looking for more as he gets his utility out here. And what a wild start to round 4. Aimless Gaming somehow alive, somehow still hanging on in a 2v3.
I thought that was over then. As Icy was pushed up, I was like, no, this is it. It's over. Icy was just going to clean up. But still, ALG holding in. Dream is just about alive. There's a glimmer of hope.
Really gotta
Nardu
keep
making a lot of noise here.
Yeah.
Smoils knows he's there, right? He's ready on that corner with his PKM in hand.
Nardu might be getting a little too... as I say that, finds Tragic. Smoil is actually going to swing around and picks up 1. That's a huge rotation from him, getting aggressive and getting... Now it down to a 2v1. Cartman tries to flash
coming around for Cartman, though. No. Smoils tucking in. He is Cartman. Cartman drops a grenade, but it doesn't pin it at all. What? Whoa. Almost thought he was going to get caught out by himself. Smoils rounds on him.
Cartman is reading Smoils well, though. He knows he's here, and he quick peeks to the corner.
It's a 1-versus-1 situation. And what might be the last round of this final, Cartman. Again, the glimmer of hope is still there as Cartman finds himself, for at least the 3rd time, being the final Aimless Gaming member still alive.
Geez, this ALG team does not go down without a fight, that's for sure. And they are now into that 1v1. Pause holding inside that not objective building, but that middle house. So does have good coverage. And honestly, this is where you want to be if you're going to be the last one alive defending objective, right? Because you have a good idea of kill count. At least you should if you're a beginner. Maybe they haven't radioed in how many are down or alive because it was a bit chaotic over in Playground. But I'm assuming he knows there's one, maybe two.
Yeah. The key thing for Cartman here is as he approaches the central area, he needs to be wary of the noise he makes because Paz is focused in, as he rightly should be, on the objective approach. Now, Cartman needs to take that advantage. He needs to, if Cartman has any idea of the kill count, he needs to take his time and look for the pick. If he runs around like a crazy man, he's going to get hurt by Paz, and Paz will react to it.
Yeah, all the rotating that he's been doing here will be for naught. And yeah, Paz definitely going to hear these footsteps as Cartman's going to be ending up challenging Paz here inside on the 1v1. Paz actually swings around the flashlight, blinding him as he touches the corner there. Paz able to get the final kill and the win and the Hiatus Tournament Division 1 Finals W.
Well deserved by beginners, but well played ALGs. What did you think of that final round there, Sleepy?
Well, I mean, like Nightfire said, ALG, Aimless Gaming, does not go down without a fight, and they proved that today. I mean, even though this particular map went a 4-0 towards the beginners, it did not play out like that. Each of the rounds definitely went down to the last few surviving members of both teams. And I think Aimless Gaming really did bring a great game here. But as far as that round goes, I said it a few times today throughout the cast, but spacing is still Aimless Gaming's, I think, biggest weakness when it comes to their offenses. Being able to push like that with a 5-man squad and cover each other and execute things all at once as one singular unit, that's great. You guys are doing well in that aspect, but your spacing is still just too close. As you saw from that round, you got 3 guys got flashbangs. You got 2 of them down by a grenade. And Nardu was, let's be real, I mean, Nardu was lucky to get that pop-up kill from that res.
Sure.
I mean, in any other situation, that person getting rezzed as soon as they pop up, considering that Woods was looking at that particular line of sight, most players would have been just, gone. It would have been over. They would have had that chance to get up and start shooting. But Nardu did do that. He did come back and actually provide some benefit to his team afterwards with the pick on Strayjack and more. And again, I mean, I think it was Evil Cartman reading the play there at the end for Aimless. I mean, all of that shows very good talent. So, I mean, this team has definitely got a lot of potential. I think today we saw experience went out and, just being calm, cool, and collected throughout the course of the day, no matter what happened. And that's something that beginners in all of their time, in all the championships and seasons and lands and all the various things that they've been privileged to be able to do and achieve is because of a lot of hard work and a lot of experience. So I think, if Aimless Gaming keeps at that, they're a team to definitely be watching out for in the top of the leaderboards.
Absolutely. I mean, ALG, they deserve to be in this final. There's no doubt about that. The difference in experience showing, sure, but, Aimless Gaming have proven themselves a worthy contender for that title. Now, what'll be interesting as new patches roll out, I mean, I expect there to be new maps rolling out, which I hope will be competitive level maps, which will be really interesting because what we've seen in Quarantine, it's a shame we didn't see Quarantine tonight, but what we've seen in the new Quarantine is it really shaking up that meta and really evening the playing field, evening up that play field in a way we haven't seen in a long time.
Well, hey,
I'm hoping we're going to see more of that rolling forward.
We talked a while back, and I'm sure 1.8 folks don't even know, but there used to be custom maps, and we were targeting getting custom maps involved in the league, and so, who knows what the future of the VRML holds in that sense. There's a lot to look forward to down the pipeline. Obviously, the VRML regular season starting up again next week. So if you do want to sign up for a team and register and start getting involved in weekly ranked matches, that'll put you up against teams that are of equal skill level to yourself. I highly recommend signing up and joining. You can head on over to the VRMasterLeague.com. Also, a shout out to the mods who have made this tournament possible. A excellent tournament to kill some time while we wait for things to get back into a competitive state. And James has done a fantastic job organizing everything. We really appreciate all of the mods that have helped in getting this tournament set up and how great it's been run. It's a big shout out to them. Also, obviously, a shout out to all of our sponsors. You've seen them here. You can see them right there on my right. They help support the league and provide prizes for all of our the contestants that compete in the VRML. So again, if you want to jump in and get your chance at prizes, I do recommend taking a look at VRMasterLeague.com. I think that's going to be it for us. A shout out to everyone that has tuned in. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, venues. We do appreciate you all stopping by and watching the matches. As a reminder, we have another one coming in an hour and 45 minutes. The Division 2 finals, Rome versus Water, will be here live. And I think it's going to be as exciting, if not more, than this one, because those two teams also very equal in terms of skill level. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. So be sure to tune in then. That's going to be it from us here on the desk. My name has been Nightfire. My co-casters, Radarhead and Sleepy with 2 3s. We do appreciate you, and we'll see you in just a few moments.
Peace out.